My source of inspiration for all the work that I take is the world in which we live, which is always fascinating, always complicated, and always difficult to try and understand. And my connection to the world of photography is very international. I've worked in anything from Latin America to Japan, China, Australia. You know, I do have a lot of travel. I mean, it's rather unfortunate. Sometimes I wish I could spend more time at home. But that's really, my palette is the world out there, so I have to go and connect to it. I became a photographer when I was a teenager because my grandfather was a very keen amateur photographer, and when I went to stay with him during my school holidays, he gave me a camera. We went out shooting together, processed the film, made some prints. So by about the age of 13 or 14, I decided that I wanted to be a photographer. And then I went to college to study photography at Manchester Polytechnic when I was 18, and I left when I was 21, and I've been a photographer ever since. So I had a very clear idea from the very beginning. That's what I wanted to do, and that's what I've gone and done. I mean, there's inevitably some romance and nostalgia in my work, but I also try and see it objectively, and I try and show ordinary things. I try and not indulge myself with those two ideas too much. So it's a question of trying to find the middle ground. So my biggest fascination is to try and make the ordinary look extraordinary. That's my ultimate goal, and that's what I'm trying to do through my photography. And here you can see everything from subject matter to emotions to ideas to concepts. And what we tried to do was to marry some of the ideas that CAMPER wanted to promote with some of my photos. And it was very good fun to try and match these things. I came up with photos, they come up with words, they came up with words, and I would come up with photos. So we had this process of trying to work out how to marry these two ideas together. And because I've been very widely travelled and I've photographed all over the place, people, places, things, we had great fun making this collaboration. We were doing the ABC all the way through the alphabet, so there's some letters where we had too many ideas and words, and some where we had to look a bit harder. And that's just the nature of trying to piece together a concept around an idea, and then each one we would look at and we would come up with suggestions, you would come up with suggestions, and we worked it out through that.